Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we do have a new hyena that's joined us, which is Ali B. So a very warm welcome to the latest Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member. As I say, if you're on a PC, I think there's a blue join button, and the same applies on Android devices. Anybody else, I think there's a link in the info box below if you want to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member. Now, we're joined by Sleeping Warrior, Ranty Flat Earth, Flatzoid, and 10th Man in G+. Very good to have you all.
Hey.
Hello.
Good morning.
Afternoon, Nathan.
Good afternoon.
And guests and everybody in the chat. Hello.
Hello. Very enthusiastic today, Ranty. Good to see. Hello, everyone in Discord. How are you all doing? I haven't had a peep from any of them. Red man with a tumbleweed.
Yeah. Nathan, what were you doing in bed at 11:39?
Getting some sleep. I've been up
11:39?
Yeah, I've been up all night. I've got 2 kids. That's just the way it goes sometimes. You have to get sleep when you can.
Nathan, let's dispense with housekeeping today because I want to respond to a couple of points that was brought up in Jose's chat yesterday. Did you have a chance to watch Jose's discussion about the oil platforms?
I don't watch Jose, but feel free. If it's important enough to dispense with housekeeping, you go right ahead.
It is. The reason why it's important is because the rumpus went on and he basically claimed that the camera height was like 3 feet above actual water. And I mean, you can see that it's centimeters. It's not feet, it's centimeters. But nobody in Jose's chat is able to address the point. The point is, why is the horizon behind the second platform rather than 1.2 miles in front? And they claim refraction. And when you look at the curve calcs for refraction, standard refraction adds 0.1 of a mile to the horizon distance. The horizon distance is set at 1.2. If you add refraction, it becomes 1.3 miles, not 10, 1.3. Now, the problem is, if they're going to then start distorting refraction to hell and back with regards to scale, then it basically means that no matter what we come back with evidence-wise, they're always just going to add a bit more bullshit onto it and turn the refraction calculator slider up, because basically they can account for everything with a bit more refraction. And the question becomes, well, how much refraction is too much refraction? Because light doesn't actually follow a curved path anyway. But even if it did in their model, what are the parameters of acceptable levels of refraction of a curved path of light bending around a curve? That's the question that I want to ask.
Well, not a lot. Well, in that regard, you're talking about terrestrial refraction, and as you've correctly identified already, you can do whatever you like with it because it's just what's occurring in a model. Now, if you're talking about actual atmospheric refractive effects, that's a very different ball game. That's not applicable. You don't slide a slider when you're studying the atmosphere. That's completely irrelevant. So what they do in their model, we don't live on a model. How many times? Now, if they're going to say, well, no, this is actually atmospheric refraction and here's some data to back it, well, what are they describing? Which atmospheric effects are they detailing? Well, in those regards, you're not ever going to loom a physical obstruction in the near foreground to appear beyond things that are apparently blocked by it and miraged up. Now, you've got something that doesn't account for the horizon physically moving. And the reason is because the horizon doesn't physically move. It's not an actual location. Now, I know they have a physical edge in their models and reifications, and they have refraction to account for why it doesn't match reality in their models and reifications. But we don't live on a model, and refraction doesn't move the horizon. It moves things with respect to the horizon, and if their horizon's a physical edge, then it can't do that.
Indeed.
Nathan, if you published a video with some content on it, and then somebody cited your video critically, saying that you've lied in your video because you failed to present evidence that didn't support your assertion, and then when they presented their evidence to support their assertion, they didn't actually use your video, would you be a little bit pissed off?
Sorry,
Because that's what Blue Marble Science did to
hold
me.
on.
He said that I've cherry picked and snipped out bits that didn't support my assertion on a video that I didn't even cite from in the original instance. I didn't even cite from. He's used some other video from a channel that I've never even heard of to allow the allegation that I cherry picked in some way, and by doing so, it obfuscates the point. The horizon's still behind the platforms, regardless of whether you think I cherry picked or not. And if you want to think I cherry picked on a video that I've never seen before, then you can do. Doesn't mean it's true, but you can do it if you want to, because we can do anything in this topic. If you can refract as much as you want, you might as well believe that we're all liars too. But the point is, it's distracting away from the point. Why is the horizon at 10 point something miles, which is nearer to 15 or 20, to be honest, in my opinion? But nobody's addressing that. Everybody's talking about Riley this or Ranty that or quantum eraser this or whatever. Nobody's addressing the horizon. It's not 10 miles on your model, guys, and refraction doesn't account for it. Doesn't do what you guys say it does.
It's there in reality, Tony, because of the infinite slider.
No, it's not. We don't live on a model, and the slider makes no difference to what you see in your camera. That makes no difference. But in respect to
it's there because of the infinite slider. The infinite slider says that it's there.
There is another concept.
So really?
Hold on, Ranty. It was there anyway. We've got a video of it. There was no necessity whatsoever to make the comparison to a religious belief in Earth being a sphere. And then when that belief fails, moving a slider. That's inconsequential.
Yeah, you need to understand the sarcasm in this comment, Nath.
I know you're sarcastic, but the problem is that Arwin used to do it more often. He doesn't anymore because I told him off, which you'll get a spank bottom to eventually. But if you're too sarcastic, it almost sounds like you're arguing that point. And to the layman who comes here and doesn't know that you're being sarcastic, it just seems like you're presenting that. So I have to debunk the sarcasm as well. That's why my tone is so like, oh God, got to debunk a sarcastic remark.
Nathan, you need to change the word to the layman that comes in and sees him being sarcastic but doesn't identify it. The only laymen that do that are the Americans because they don't understand our humor. Yeah. I only ever get that with Americans. But listen, there's two problems with the curve.
Hold on. Sleeping Warrior does not express the views of Flat Earth Debate on Nathan Oakley 1980 channel.
There's two problems with the Earth curve calculator.
I understand your humor.
Sorry, no offense, Chocolate. Listen, there's two problems, right? Lewis Hackett said, you can't say that our model's wrong without providing an alternative model, right? The problem is the Earth curve calculator's got that much refraction on it. I'm going to assert, and I don't know whether it's right or wrong, but I'm going to do it for shits and giggles, that their refractometer, the slider, the infinite amount of refraction that they can add, actually goes beyond flat into concave. Now, if it does do that in real world and it goes beyond flat into concave, then it means that they've actually modeled our world model out for a flat plane too. So we do actually have a flat Earth model. We just slide the refractometer back to normal parameters and claim that the Walter Bisling curve calculator is actually a flat Earth model, and we can model it just the way you can with the infinitely variable amount of bullshitometer refraction, and we'll steal the refraction calculator and the curve calculator from Walter Bisling, and we'll just call it our flat Earth model.
No, we won't. No. We won't.
But it is flat.
No, we don't need a model to justify what you see in this picture. So they've got you on this tap of looking for a model for comparison's sake, and because you found one of their models that when you slide a slider to match a reification of an R value, it matches the actual reality upon making it flattened out. So what? That doesn't prove it's flat. Well, the photo does, though. The photo definitely does, and I don't need to compare it to anything at all. Now, if someone comes along and says, in my model, I've got a physical edge that should be 1.4 miles away, or 1.3 miles away, or 1.2 miles away, and it's more than 10 miles away, well, then it just debunks the notion that it's a physical edge. That is the end of the argument. Now, anybody who comes along, I'll give QE's analogy of the black swan. If you come along and say, here, on this day, I can reify what appears to be an obstruction I'm claiming is the edge of the sphere. Now, it makes no difference. Once we have demonstrated, as we have, that the horizon is not a physical location, it can appear beyond something that's supposed to be obstructed. Not an effect of refraction. Refraction's not looming the horizon. Therefore, that position, the horizon, is not an actual location. Now, this is undebunkable. There will be no rebuttal to this. There will be lots of red herrings that make it seem like they're addressing it, lots of misrepresentations, lots of claims that we haven't paid attention to the white swan. Now, if I claim that white swans are the only thing in existence and there are no black swans, it only needs somebody to present a single black swan to prove that they are correct and I am incorrect. At this point, we have categorically, unequivocally demonstrated that the horizon is not a physical location. It's not the edge of a reified ball based on a model that's wrong and needs to be completely flattened out to match this observation. That in no way proves Earth's a sphere and in no way proves it's flat. The image, however, debunks the notion that we have a physical obstruction, a sphere edge beyond which things need to be loomed if we can see them, but beyond which that physical edge isn't the thing that's being loomed. That's not an effect of refraction. Now, their refraction isn't even the refraction I'm detailing when I talk about the actuality and reality in this image, or in this video. Their refraction is 7/6 of the radius, or, if you use this slider, as much more or less than you require to match a reification, a sphere model, to reality. Matters not. It's just a model. It's based on their belief we live on a sphere, and it's absolutely debunked by the physical edge being in a place it can't be. It's not physical, it's not an edge, it's merely the arbitrary position where the sky appears, not actually, meets the ground. It doesn't meet the ground, it's not an edge. It can't be measured with geometry, it's not going to give you an R value, and the fact that it's behind something that it should be 9.5 miles in front of debunks the notion that it's an actual edge. End of argument.
Not necessarily. We have a globe savior in the chat who wants to join, but can't find a place in the panel, Nath. He wants to come in and argue his point for the globe.
Let me guess. Is it Rumpus?
I give you the rumpus.
Is he going to tell us how it's definitely 3 feet?
How it's definitely provable on the globe.
Yep.
Can I just say as well that Blue Marble Science owes me an apology. He's not going to give one, but his statement was false. I did not make any assertions on a video that he presented that he said I did. So Blue Marble Science, I know you're not going to do it, but you owe me an apology.
All he did, Anthony, is he mistook one video for another, and you're mistaken in thinking the video he was referencing was by someone else. The guy you were talking about, the BMS, mistaken. Whatever it is, 69, did several videos. He was analysing one, and you were analysing another. It's very simple. I was analysing one, and he claimed I was analysing a video from a completely different channel that I was not even aware of. No, it wasn't. And he made assertions that I'd... Rumpus, no, you're wrong. Listen to what I just said. The guy you please stop interrupting. Stop interrupting. Let me finish. Hold on. I'll explain to you. It's really simple. Let me finish, and then you can respond. Okay?
His assertion is that I missed bits out of a video that I didn't even cite from, even though there was a link in the description box for the video that I did cite from that did not contain that footage.
But he didn't refer you to another channel. The guy that you took the video from made several videos, one of which he analysed, and he thought that was the one that you used, but you hadn't. Okay.
Rumpus, that's full of shit.
Hold on.
Because if you go to his video, the video that Sleeping Warrior never spoke about, never mentioned, is linked in his video. So you're full of shit. And Blue Marble Fucktard is full of shit too. Sorry.
No, he's not.
He is.
He's excellent.
He owes me an apology.
But he did make
I
a mistake.
not like the video or miss bits out of the video.
Say that again. Rumpus.
I know. I'm agreeing with you, Anthony. I'm agreeing with you.
They made a mistake. He's wrong.
Yeah, Blue Marble Science thought you were using one video, but you weren't. You were using another one by the same person. You, for some reason, seem to think
not by the same person. No, not by the same person.
By a completely different videographer.
Yeah.
No, you've got confused. Let me say it again.
It's a completely different channel. It's linked in the video on Blue Marble Science's video.
Let me try it again.
So Blue Marble Science can't read.
The video you have on screen, came from, was it BMSI 69 or something? And he made 3 or 4 videos on this subject. Anthony analysed one, and Blue Marble thought he was analysing another one by the same guy.
Rumpus.
So it wasn't
not
by the same guy.
Not by the same guy. He cited a video from a channel called Outer Land.
Anthony.
I've never
He's
heard
just
of
said
this guy before.
Anthony. He's just said Blue Marble thought it was by the same guy. Blue Marble was wrong. It wasn't. End of conversation.
It was by the same guy. But
no, it wasn't.
No, Rumpus, it was by a different guy. You just need to get on topic and figure out what's what, mate, because it seems like you're very confused.
Rumpus, let me put it to you in one sentence.
No, it's not what your point now will be. He was wrong. He thought it was by the same guy, according to you. He linked it. It was a completely different guy. So he just fucked up royally. He's just a moron. He got it wrong. I don't care how it gets phrased. I don't want you to now segue onto a different point, ignore that point, or claim he was right. He wasn't. That's the end of this conversation. Even when it's painfully obvious that one of your compadres totally messed up, you still want to defend that he's right. He's not, you moron. He's just wrong.
He didn't totally mess up.
Yeah, he did. He thought it was by the same guy by your own admission. It wasn't. He was wrong. How much more do you need me to slow this down, moron?
Listen to me more.
I don't need to listen to you. I've heard you. Yeah? For all those assholes out there that think that I don't let people make their point, you've made it. You've told us you want to repeat it, and I'm saying you've got it wrong. Either you can't comprehend when you say he thought it was by the same person. It wasn't. He just got it wrong. Stop defending this complete moron. In fact, keep defending him. Let's drag it out some more just how stupid and wrong Blue Marble Science is. Let's drag this out indefinitely. No worries. I don't mind you continually defending him and saying, yeah, he thought it was the same videographer, but it was the same videographer. Well, why did he think it was the same videographer when it's linked below as a different person?
It's really simple. One guy who took the video that you're looking at made another video of the same thing, but he added in extra days footage.
It's on a different channel. Somebody else has taken footage and re-edited it, republished it as a new video on a different channel. That is the video Blue Marble has referenced. Sod all to do with what Anthony referenced.
It was done by the same guy.
It was done by a totally different channel, re-edited, republished, and absolutely nothing to do with what was cited by Sleeping Warrior. End of story. It's not the same videographer.
It is.
No, it is not. You're just thick.
Rumpus, you realize that video is still linked in Blue Marble's video about Sleeping Warrior. with the
yeah,
channel
that's to the BMSI
that
guy.
Nobody ever spoke about.
No, not
Do
to
you
the
understand
BMSI
that?
guy. No, to a different videographer. So it's clear, no matter how slow we say it, you're under the misapprehension that only the video actually cited by Sleeping Warriors linked below, even though a totally different videographer is also linked below.
Another video is indeed linked below, but it's...
So, fuckwit! He's completely dropped the ball. He's a moron. He's an idiot. He thought Anthony was referencing a completely different videographer. He wasn't. It's just Blue Marble misrepresenting him, getting it wrong, using a straw man, going to a different videographer to debunk. So,
No, he went
as
to different
correctly
video by the same
identified,
guy.
Sleeping Warrior, in this instance, has taken the bait. Because Rumpus isn't here to identify why this horizon... I'm starting to interrupt me. He's not here to identify the problem that you have as fundy globe heads, where this horizon that should be about 1.2 miles away from the observer, obscuring things in the distance, is beyond 10 miles, proving unequivocally it can't be a physical location.
I'm here to do exactly
and rather than letting me finish my statement, you're going to try and attempt and dilute the point you're not addressing. You'd much rather address Hillbilly Blue Ball's retard video than the fact this debunks the notion that you've got a physical sphere edge to obscure things.
I want to address it.
No, you've had 10 minutes talking about Blue Marble.
Well, you brought that. That's because Riley... Anthony just...
I don't give a shit about your bumbling buffoonery, you moron. This debunks the sphere. You don't have a physical edge obscuring anything, you stupid little man.
I'm going to explain it to you, but you haven't let me do that yet. You just want to just chatter on with your name.
You had 10 minutes, you stupid fucktard. What do you think's on the table here? It's called Flat Earth Debate, not debate Hillbilly Bluebard's mentality, you stupid little man. What do you think you're here for? To white knight for a retard?
You're not debating.
I'm talking about a horizon. We've discussed it in the pre-show. It's been completely removing the housekeeping questions because we're specifically talking about a horizon that you reify into something that can physically obscure things. And yet there it is beyond the stuff that it should be obscuring.
Let's talk about the horizon, what's being obscured.
I've just talked about it. It debunks the idea we're on a globe. It debunks the idea we've got something that can physically obscure. You don't have a sphere edge obscuring things. It's behind the things that should be obscured. It debunks the globe.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, well, a hand wave dismissal's not very good. Given you've had 10 minutes to argue about Hillbilly Blue Balls, no, it doesn't. It's not going to wash here, moron. You need a physical edge obscuring things. You measure how much is obscured by your physical edge, and you don't have it, sunshine. It's way off in the distance on the flat plane we live on.
You're just not letting me explain the answers. You just want to sense of the answers.
How are we seeing the horizon beyond those oil rigs?
I'm not allowed to get more than a sentence out without being interrupted.
Rumpus,
Here we go. Here are some answers for you.
Rumpus.
Here we go.
How are we seeing the horizon behind those oil rigs?
You don't want the answers, do you? Right, here we go. For number one, there is a sort of what you can call a physical horizon on a globe Earth. So, for instance, just imagine an ant sitting on top of a football.
Sorry, we're not asking about your fucking model. I don't want to know about your reification and what it does in your model on a globe Earth. We don't live on this heliocentric model. So don't start explaining a photograph of reality by telling me what your model does. I don't care what your model does. Don't tell me what a sphere does. Tell me why in this image we have what you think is a physical edge beyond the things it's supposed to be obscuring. Don't tell me about your model.
I'm going to deal with that exactly what you want me to deal with, exactly. But I just want to get over to you that there is a physical edge on the globe model.
Yes,
are you dumb? Are you dense? Are you deaf? I have just said I don't want to hear about your religious sphere belief in heliocentric models. We're not looking at this model, so I don't need a comparison to the model. I just need you to address an actual picture of reality. Now, I appreciate that you're going to juxtapose your model, and therefore you need to clarify what your model is straight away, even though we're asking you about a photograph. something that has taken place in reality. You need to obstruct something with that horizon, mate, and it's beyond the oil rigs.
No model. You just made about a claim about the horizon on a globe model, and I was correct.
No, you started talking about your globe model and it having a physical edge.
You made a claim that
You made a claim about what your model does, and I stopped you. I've made a claim that we've got an image with a horizon you believe is supposed to be obstructing something.
Yeah, well, okay. I'll tell you what, I'll go back to this with the horizon, even though you brought it up.
No, you fucking won't come back to it, you dumb fuck. You'll deal with it, you mental retard. You're not going to come back to it. You're not going to clarify what your model does. You're not going to talk over me and tell me about your religious belief in a sphere model.
Give you an answer. You asked for an answer. And
I asked for one about 25 minutes ago, didn't I?
Have an answer for this.
Yeah. I asked for one about 25 minutes ago, and we've got you telling me that I'm censoring you, you telling me what your model does, and you talking about hillbilly blue balls.
You like? Do you want me? Right, here we go. We'll talk about the horizon in a second. Right.
No, you stupid muppet. The question is about the horizon. We won't talk about it in a second. You'll start with it.
Yeah, okay, fine. We'll let you order the. We'll start with talking about the photograph. Right. So the problem you seem to have is
The problem I have isn't the photograph. Are you dumb? I say I'm going to start by talking about the photograph, and then you start talking about a problem I've got.
No, I'm talking. Yeah, because you got up with.
No, not yeah. I'm saying talk about the horizon. The thing you think's a physical edge obscuring shit, and it's way off in the distance on the flat plane we live on. Not a problem I've got. That's not a problem.
I'm going to explain the photograph. Here we go. Right. So the question is, why is the horizon above or behind the platforms, and why can we see all the platforms?
I haven't asked that question. We see it because we've got a set of eyeballs. So you want an answer to that question, which isn't the question.
But surely the question is, that's the one you want answered, is why can we see all the platforms and why is the horizon behind them?
That's a different question you're asking, and I'm saying because I've got a set of eyeballs.
So your question is you've got a set of eyeballs? Yes.
No, that's my answer to the rephrasing of my question that you've given that you want to answer. Why can we see this? Because we've got eyeballs. That's your rephrasing and repackaging of my question. Now, I'm saying, given that you think it's an obscuring edge, why isn't it obscuring anything?
Well, that's exactly what I said.
No, you asked me why we could see. I can see because I've got eyeballs.
Right, look, I phrased the question that you were asking me is why can we see all of the platforms and why is the horizon...
No, that isn't the question I asked. We can see it because we've got eyeballs. I keep answering your slightly paraphrased question because I've got eyeballs.
The question on the table is why can we see this on a globe? On the globe, we can.
No, I didn't ask why when you begged the question and assume we're on a sphere. Those words didn't utter my lips. Are you incapable of explaining why, given that you believe this position in the distance on the flat plane we live on should be obscuring things, why it isn't? Are you incapable of answering that?
Here we go. So the question is, why are the things not being obscured? Why are we seeing all...
No. Why is it the thing you think should be obscuring it is way off in the distance on the flat plane we live on?
So here we go. Here's the answer.
The Earth is flat. Obviously and observably. If it wasn't, there'd be a sphere edge obscuring shit. But there isn't. That's the answer. There you go. You want to keep rephrasing and re-asking the question to buy time, I'll just answer it when you ask it again.
Here we go. The question on the table is...
Don't rephrase and repackage the question, because I'll be answering it if you ask it.
So the answer is refraction conditions, as shown by the wiggly towers on the things we're looking at. You can see the towers are all over the place. They're being affected by severe refraction.
Sorry, we're not talking about the towers. We're talking about the horizon. Immediately repackages his answer to answer a different question. Did I mention towers? Did I mention cranes? Or was I very specifically talking about your fundy sphere edge that's not obstructing anything? Not towers, not cranes. The fact that you've got an edge that's not obscuring anything. The horizon, not the towers. You stupid deaf moron. Don't answer a question I haven't asked about. I'm talking about the horizon. Do you understand, moron?
Let him say refraction, Nathan.
No, we'll get to his refraction. He's talking about the refraction on the towers. So we'll get to his refraction claim
home.
when we start talking about what I've asked about, which is the horizon, not the towers.
Answer, and then you can ask me another question. If you want to ask me another question, that's fine.
I'll do what the fuck I like. You stupid little twat.
Just listen to the
I'm
geometry,
talking
Nathan.
about the horizon while I get rumpus by Ranty. He wants to talk about refraction. We'll get to what refraction. I am absolutely confident in declaring now that it will be terrestrial refraction with an R value attached to it. But we'll get to that later after we point out that he's now answering a question about an effect on something I haven't asked about. That would be the cranes, not the horizon, Rumpus. You're distracting away from this absolutely devastating point by talking about something else. You had quite a long time to talk about the horizon. You've said you're going to talk about the horizon, but you're now talking about something that's not the horizon. You're talking about the cranes. That's not what I've asked you about. Now, do you need me to slow it down, or do you need me to kick you out?
You're
not listening to me.
A single answer.
You're not listening.
I can't hear your question.
It's because you keep talking.
I can't hear your question. I cannot hear your question.
That's because you keep talking. You're saying I can't hear your question over and over again. How the hell do you expect to hear me? It seems the guest we have, the name of Rumpus, is mentally retarded. He's telling me he can't hear me while he's talking continually. That would make him mentally retarded, because he's never going to hear me if he's talking continually. How could you ever expect to hear somebody? So unless he shuts up, he can't hear me, but he's going to continue, because he's retarded, to declare that he can't hear me.
Nathan, you simply just want to talk. You don't want to debate here. You just simply want to talk. You don't let me answer. You just want to overtalk me. Right, the answer to your question is if you go to the Walter Bisson calculator, he's in...
No, if I go to a globe reification model, why is it that I ask about the horizon, and when I get close to him answering it, he talks about cranes? And then immediately when he says that I've been talking over him, and he starts interrupting me again, we point out that he's going to his globe reification to beg the question, rather than talking about the horizon in the image he's ignoring. Now he's talking over me again. So you're talking over me, Rumpus. You haven't talked about the horizon. You now want to go to Walter Bislin's globe reification.
I will talk about the horizon. Okay, so the question now on the table is, why is the horizon where it is?
No, those words haven't uttered my lips. Not why is it where it is. No, I didn't ask that. I asked why something you think is a physical obstruction is way off in the distance, not obstructing things on the flat plane we live on.
Okay, I'll answer the question. Right, great. So the question is, why is the horizon where it is?
No, that's not what I asked. Why is something that you think is supposed to be obscuring stuff is way off in the distance, not obscuring anything on a flat plane that we live on? That's my question. I don't want it paraphrased and then a different question answered.
Incredible. Yeah, so the question is, why is the horizon where it is and why isn't it...
No, that's not what I asked. You're deaf, dumb and stupid. You can't comprehend a simple question and then repeat it back to me because you're thick and because you can't answer it. Maybe you can answer one of the variations that you're giving me of my question.
Give me the answer, but you won't let me. Right, the answer to the question is because when we have extreme refraction conditions, as...
No. What's refraction?
My goodness.
What's refraction?
Well, 5 words in there.
Is refraction terrestrial? We're using terrestrial refraction.
Oh my God.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Are you scared of my question? Are you scared of giving clarity? Are you scared? Are you scared? He's terrified. He can't answer and he can't give clarity. I would like to bet a pound he's begging the question and using 7/6R.
And he needs to distract away. He's begging the question here and using R in his refraction, but he needs to distract away by talking over me. So he's going to talk over me constantly while I point out his refraction's using R. He's using R in his refraction, but he won't let me talk. He won't let me talk to point it out, will he? Hey, right, Rumpus. Right,
so I'm at the point where I've got no choice, have I? I've got to put him on mute because he won't let me point out that he's used a word that begs the question. That'd be refraction. Now, I'm interrupting because I want to know if he's using the terrestrial refraction that assumes his outcome. This R value that will be assumed in that refraction. Is that what you're going to be using, terrestrial refraction, Rumpus?
Of course, that is refraction.
Oh, right. Well, that would be begging the question now, wouldn't it? See, that's why he talked over me continually and claimed I was talking over him like he's doing now. So yet again, I've got to shut him up. He's trying to prove we live on a sphere, and claiming refraction. But the refraction he's using is assumed to be taking place on the very thing he's claiming to be proving. That would be a sphere. So by using terrestrial refraction, this moron who needs to change my question 16 times assumes the outcome he's trying to prove. So no, Rumpus, terrestrial refraction is a mathematical concoction that assumes radius, the very thing you're trying to prove here. So no, that's not satisfactory. Maybe try again. I'll repeat the question so you don't paraphrase it. Why would you assume that something way off in the distance on the flat plane we live on is actually an obstruction in the near... Oh, he won't even let me get to the end. I'm going to have to kick him out soon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I mean, he's begged the question. He's assumed the very thing he's trying to prove. And now here we are again with me trying for the 17th time to actually give the question concisely so he can answer it rather than a different question he wants to answer. And there he goes interrupting me. It's because it's devastating. Flat earthers, listen up. This is their best. And he can't answer it because it's not a physical edge. For all of you who have been asked for your edge and claim that boats go over some stupid reification given to you by the Flat Earth Society, know this. There is no physical edge to the sphere they think they live on. And this proves it. And when asked why the physical obstruction he thinks he has is way off in the distance on a flat plane, he'll talk about his model. Or he'll use something that assumes Earth's a sphere to begin with, terrestrial refraction, because they're fucked. Know it. Take hold of this proof and ram it down their throats like I'm ramming it down this pathetic little dick. You stupid little man. You can't address the horizon without assuming the very thing you're trying to prove.
I want to answer.
You've had loads of opportunity. All you've done is used a refraction value that begs the question and has an R value, automatically assuming a sphere Earth in the refraction that's claimed to prove what? Sphere Earth? What shock? It's begging the question, you moron.
Right. If you just...
Not right! Are you dumb? Why is it when I point out fallacious reasoning to this moron, he says right? No. Wrong. Fallacious. Begging the question. I know it's painful to listen to me pointing out where you've used a fallacy, assuming your outcome. R value assumed in your refraction. Hello. I know it's painful for these fundies, but the best they've got is this. A little twat that interrupts me continually. That's all they've got for this. No rebuttals. I've said it from the start. They've got nothing for this.
Yeah. And you don't want answers. You want to censor answers because you
had 40 minutes. The show's been open for you to give an answer. You're not. You're begging the question. You've said terrestrial refraction. Of course, that's refraction. Yeah, well, that's got an R value in it, you stupid dick. Now, I realise that's painful for you and that you must beg the question, but it doesn't mean you've got any rebuttal. You claim to be physical edge is way off in the distance.
And you haven't allowed me to answer.
I have allowed you. You've used terrestrial refraction. Don't bleat that you haven't had an opportunity. You said refraction. I stopped you and you moaned and talked over me because you knew how devastating my question would be. What type of refraction? Would it be an atmospheric effect or an assumption of a globe? And we got there pretty quick. You said, yeah, I'm going to be assuming a globe in this example. So no, you have had a chance. I'm not censoring you. You've just got nothing. Nothing but assuming your outcome.
You're scared of the answers. You're in your little mind bunker, hiding away from the answers that science provides.
Science doesn't provide terrestrial refraction. You're just a liar. I'm not scared. I heard your answer, little man. Terrestrial refraction. Now, I can see that while the audience is hearing me, Rumpus isn't listening. He's making sure the Discord can't hear, and he's rumpusing the shit out of me pointing out that I clarified his answer that has been heard. He said refraction. What kind of refraction? Clarified by me with a lot of rumpusing. Terrestrial refraction. Now, terrestrial refraction's got an R value. It assumes the very thing he's trying to prove.
No, we're not trying to prove that. We're not trying.
Oh, you're not trying to prove a globe? Oh, that's fascinating. Why are you here? You know it's flat then?
Right.
Yeah, I know it's flat, right, yeah.
You can do to prove the Earth is spherical.
So you are here to prove it's spherical then? That's double-speak nonsense. You're not here to prove that? What, the thing you're assuming in terrestrial refraction, the R value? You're not here to prove that, but then you immediately go on to how you are here to prove that.
And then we build on that.
Build on the assumption? Yeah, that's my point, you dick. You've got a logical fallacy, an assumption, the thing you're going to build on because you know it already. That's the fallacy, you stupid moron. Now, I realise that when that fallacy's pointed out, you'll claim that I haven't listened to you using terrestrial refraction and that you're in fact being censored while you're talking over me. I know what you do. I know why you dicks want to drag me somewhere else so that the audience doesn't get to hear this when it comes. You want to be able to talk all over the fact that assuming your outcome isn't sound logic.
And your position is to ignore the answers that are offered to you.
I haven't ignored your answer. Ladies and gentlemen, I asked for a claim proof of why his edge is way off in the distance on a flat plane, and he told me it's because of refraction. Now, refraction isn't on a flat plane. It assumes sphericity with an R value.
Oh, it builds on that.
Builds on? So, assuming your outcome. That is called a logical fallacy. Now, he's justified it after saying it wasn't heard. He's a liar.
Oh, dear.
Oh, dear, it was heard. It's just been taken to pieces. So, you're a liar. You're not being censored. Your argument's void.
Censored, Nathan.
No, you're not being censored. You are having your argument ripped to shreds based on its fallacy by me while you interrupt and claim you're being censored.
Let's give it a stop the censorship and let me have a sentence.
See? You're not giving me anything other than terrestrial refraction, which I've debunked, but you don't want the audience to hear that. So you're going to claim censorship, even though I've pointed out it assumes an R value, and then you've justified your claim that has been heard, has definitely not been censored, by saying we're building on what we know, the very definition of assuming your outcome. Again, something that we have heard from you, but you want to claim foul play. No, I heard. I gave you a rebuttal. You just don't like it because it proves you're wrong. Now, I've had enough of this shite. You're going to be disappearing because all you can do is talk over me. And I'm sure I'm losing my actual panel because you're a dick and can't shut up.
No, bravo,
Yeah,
bravo,
brilliant.
Nathan. This was brilliant. All flat earthers listen to this 20 zillion times. Begging the question, Nathan, you stopped him. He never answered your direct question. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to take them by the butt and spank them, I'd say.
Yep.
Just beautiful.
Can we point out that, every time we ask them where the hell's your edge fundies, and they say, oh, there's no edge of the ball, there's no edge of the globe. Well, your man Rumpus just came in here and said, yes, we have a physical horizon. Yes, you have an edge on a globe. That,
I don't want
as said by your man Rumpus just now.
Do you think they know how refraction works, though?
No, let me just, I know Nathan's probably going to shout, and if that's the case, then I don't mind stopping, but Rumpus was about to assert that there is excessive amounts of refraction, but unfortunately there isn't any evidence that supports him, and nor is there any science that supports him. So just claiming it isn't good enough, because we know that we can demonstrate refraction. And we know that demonstrating refraction is defined as Fata Morgana, Fata Brumosa, superior mirage, inferior mirage, towering, looming, stooping, all of those known effects. But the problem is, I've got two papers here I'm going to quickly go through. I can see Nathan's screen sharing me. These papers don't exist online anymore because M. Scott Veitch managed to get them removed. This atmospheric refraction, a study of mirage, which if it's refraction, this is what Rumpus is arguing for. In this document, it cites that the effects of mirages are based on And this is the important bit. It is well known that Earth's atmosphere is not homogeneous. As a result, light traveling in the atmosphere will undergo refraction, and the traveling path will, and this is the key bit, deviate from a straight line. That doesn't mean follow a curved path. It means deviate from straight. And in this document, it shows all these effects of refraction, superior mirage, fata morganas, inferior mirages, all these things that we talk about. It also uses the mathematics to calculate what they think is an acceptable formula to demonstrate refraction. But nowhere in this document, if I do a control F and do a find, nowhere does the word radius get mentioned. It's not in the maths and it's not in the physical description. So there's no evidence to support the assertion for refraction to be a radius-based calculation. But it goes further. In this particular document, again, it's no longer online because M. Scott Veitch had it removed, written by a guy called Diego Gutierrez. He's trying to demonstrate refraction using simulation for a purpose of making a computer program. And in this, he says that his simulation is based on Fermat's principle, which is that light takes the shortest or the quickest available time to get from point A to point B. But he also talks about all the other types of refraction. And this is another key point. It says, now Rumpus is going to talk about the cranes. He says, under standard circumstances, the effects are negligible. Now, when Rumpus wants to talk about the cranes, he's going to say that that's extreme refraction, right? But it says it's under non-standard circumstances, this would be where Rumpus is talking, when we really see some amazing atmospheric phenomena. Probably the best known is the inferior mirage. And again, when we go into the demonstrations for refraction, they're talking about things that we actually observe real world. Again, it's all supported and qualified with the maths. But again, nowhere in the document does the word radius appear. So when Rumpus asserts that this is extreme refraction, I'm going to assert that there's no evidence to support the assertion that it's extreme. It's actually negligible because the arms of the crane are shimmering a little bit. But there's no fata morgana, there's no fata brumosa, there's no stooping, towering, looming, or any of that stuff, because that's non-standard refraction, and they account for that geometrically by putting, instead of 7 6R, 8 and 9 and 10 6R, because that's their adjustment for refraction. But in the real world, refraction is not based on R at all. It's based on actual atmospherics that we see, can calculate for, probably inaccurately, but it's not based on R. So when Rumpus says that it's extreme refraction, I'm going to say it's actually negligible, and he's bullshitting because he needs to be able to flick that slider on the Walter Bismarck's curve calculator right the way up to the extreme. But the problem is, right the way up to the extreme is flat.
And how does he determine which way the light reflects to anyway? Can you
just plucks it out of his ass.
Look, it doesn't matter. Good job there, Sleeping Warrior. This is exactly the cowbell that proves why Nathan kept them on the topic.
Yeah, it's the effects of refraction are negligible. Only when you've got fata morgana, fata brumosa, all those things that we talk about and we see real world, that's crazy ass refraction, right? But none of it's based on a geometric curve, a radius. But that's their model. But their model's got no application scientifically because they don't do it based on curves and radiuses. They do it based on how it looks at the atmosphere, upside down, shimmering, all that stuff that we talk about. That's refraction. It's not to do with a radius, a geometric radius. They need it to be because that's how their model explains it, but it doesn't mean it's real world.
Right.
Listen, the argument that QE presented was that at a 1 foot observer height, using their globe math, 3959 radius, the horizon could not be any further than 1.22 miles. Then we are presented with physical photographic proof that the horizon is beyond 9.41 miles at a 1 foot observer height photograph. In their own math, it can't be more than 1.22 miles. So it's over, non-debatable.
I agree. The Rumpus is in chat now saying that this document is the basis for Philip and I's ray tracing modeling of refraction. They're going to model refraction based on a curve, 7 6R, but it doesn't. There's no evidence to support that real world in science because it's all based on different maths. It's not based on radius. It's not based on an Earth being a sphere. It's based on whatever's going on with the temperature, the pressure, the humidity, the density, all the factors that influence what we see, the mess at the horizon. But it doesn't mention radius, Rumpus. And we know by definition, Fermat's principle on the trajectory of light, it deviates from straight at every point along the path. It doesn't follow a curve. It deviates from straight. It literally says deviate from a straight line, but it's at every point along the path. So that means sometimes when it's less dense, it'll go down. No, sorry. When the light rays going through less dense, it'll bend up and away from the norm. But when it's more dense, it'll come back down again and go back down. But it's deviating from straight. It's not changing point to point to point, and relative to that point, it's deviating from a straight line. So
let's make it.
Hold on 1 second, 10th man. Hold on. So I'm going to do some shout outs for. Hold on 1 second, Anthony. Hold on, Anthony. So I'm going to do some super chat shout outs in a sec. But in the meantime, is there any chance you can go and dig out your up and down video? Up and down. You know what I'm talking about?
Elaborate.
It's a video of Soundly with some lamps spaced.
Yes.
I'll just shout out these super chats, and then hopefully by the time I've done that, you've had enough time to dig that out and present it. So, shout out to MC Universe Sacred Truth Keeper, my bad. It says, liars hate truth, open brackets, in all capitals. So, shouty caps. Liars hate truth! MC Universe Sacred Truth Seeker. Said it twice. MC Universe Sacred Truth Keeper. Thank you very much for the super chat. Godzilla37 says, imagine the rise in suicides if Rumpus worked in the prevention hotline. Good show again, Nathan. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I appreciate the sentiment, but thank you very much indeed for the super chat, Godzilla. Really appreciate it. Mason B, also shout out to you. Thank you very much for the super chat. Rumpus is an utter moron. Right on. Shout out to JQ also. Unfortunately, I can't read your super chat because it's below. The last super chat doesn't appear on my screen. I'm really sorry. And I can't scroll it to find it. It's long gone. If someone else super chats, I will read them both out though. Thank you very much everyone for your super chats. And Anthony, if you can make your screen full screen, I'll make you look pretty.
I will do. I just want to cite where it's coming from.
Sure.
This is it's on my channel and it's called Standy Bended Light Refraction Explained. It's had less than 1,000 views. But this is going to illustrate what light actually does in the horizon, in the atmosphere. That's not a sphere. Courtesy of Soundly. Soundly was doing a time lapse time lapse exercise where he was setting up these lights. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lights in the screen, and they're following this path along here. Don't be fooled by anything in the background that's not these lights. It's these dots, these white dots that Soundly's put on vertical stanchions on a bridge. And what he's trying to demonstrate is that the light curves, it follows a curved path over, and he did it at nighttime because the effects of refraction are obviously less at the nighttime because there's no sun. But the problem is it doesn't support the assertion that light follows a curved path the way Rumpus will have you believe. What I've done is I've put on a straight edge. Forget about the rest of the arrow. It's just a straight edge, so you've got a reference point. And you can see that sometimes the dots of white light appear above the line. Sometimes they appear below the line. Sometimes they appear to curve down. Sometimes they curve up. But the key point is that they're all independent from each other and they are not following any particular path. They are varying from point to point to point and they are deviating from straight. So what we'll see is look at these last 4 lights at the end. Now they're all above the line, and then in a couple of minutes they'll start to drop below the line like they are now, but they're not connected to each other. So they're not following a curved path. They're dancing independently from each other and they're deviating from straight. There is no science, real world or otherwise, to support the assertion that light follows a curved path. It deviates from straight at every point along the path that the light's believed to be traveling along. Believed being the key word.
Perfect. Thank you very much. That was excellent.
It's almost like a moment's silence for our deceased Ball Earth model.
Well, I've cut off 10th Man and Ranty, so I'm sure both of them have got something to add.
Yes, I do. Rumpus would have you believe the deck, the horizon, is refracting. Really, Rumpus? Objects refract.
Well, in his model, 10th Man, the effects of refraction over 10 miles and an observer height of 1 foot, not 3 foot, 1 foot, it changes the refracted horizon by 0.1 of a mile from 1.2 miles to 1.3 miles. And that's the extent of the refraction in the model. They have to make it flat to explain it.
Excuse me. This is not debatable. The sextant. I've been waiting for the trap to be laid, and Rumpus, you fell in the trap beautifully. The sextant does not work with your description. The sextant is a right angle. The deck is horizontal to the horizon, and it must be straight. It can't be fluctuating, or navigation dies with your garbage talk. You're dead, Rumpus.
The whole model's dead 10th.
Navigation will not work according to Rumpus's description. Navigation only works if the deck is solid. Thank you. Here he fell in the trap.
What did we talk about?
Yeah, but he fell in it.
No, not yet. My word, we just talked about this yesterday.
I didn't know they were going to fall in it that quick.
No, they didn't fall in anything that quick. My word, man.
Did you just get on the show, or did you hear the whole thing?
I didn't hear the whole thing. I just come on.
He fell in it.
Okay, well,
he fell in it so deep. Anyway, Nathan, on Master B, I have that reference on that video where the guy describing longitude, latitude says the edge, and it's a common use video. So I think if you read the disclaimer, it could be shared. I'm not sure about YouTube things, but it's there. It's at the 1 minute mark.
Well, I'll probably come to that in the after show, but in the meantime, there's several of the super chats that I've not shouted out. So Rumpus is getting wrecked again, masochist, says JQ. Thank you very much for the super chat. Unitox Femu says, if Earth is a sphere, Rumpus is a cube. Right on. Yeah. Also, Godzilla37 says, help to find the missed super chat. Right, it did move it all along. Thank you very much indeed. And God Scalpel, shout out to the ball bashing crew. Really appreciate all of your support. Thank you very much indeed. If you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on the Nathan Oakley 1980 live stream, then this is where I bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the G+ and Discord server for making this live show possible. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!